The air in my inherited parlour was as heavy and ornate as the brocade drapes. It smelled faintly of old money and Serafina's expensive, ambitious perfume. Serafina, my half-sister, was leaning in with the practiced intimacy of a viper pretending to be a silk scarf. She had inherited our father's sharp jaw and his ruthless ambition, but none of his charm. She watched me with eyes the colour of iced emeralds. "It's simply beautiful, Elise," she purred, sliding a heavy antique ring across the mahogany table. It was gorgeous, in a slightly unsettling way. The silver band was braided with tiny, interlocking serpents, culminating in a cabochon stone that seemed to absorb the light rather than reflect it. "What is it?" I asked, picking it up. It felt cool, almost vibrating slightly in my palm. "A Vance family heirloom," she lied smoothly. "Mother kept it hidden. It's supposed to bring immense good fortune to the wearer, a complete change of circumstances." I knew better. Serafina had spent the last decade tirelessly trying to chip away at my circumstances. My inheritance, my position on the board, even got my fiancée Juliana to dump me. She was even ruthless enough to get rid of her own mother. She wouldn't willingly give me anything of value unless it had a hidden cost. "You should wear it now," she insisted, her voice tight with suppressed excitement. "Try it on. For sisterly solidarity." Her eagerness was an invisible hand pushing me towards an open window. I looked at the ring, then at her face. The flush high on her cheeks, the nervous twitch near her perfectly drawn lip. Serafina didn't want my good fortune. She wanted my life. My healthy body, my guaranteed long future, the sheer luck of having evaded the chronic illnesses that plagued our bloodline. I thought my dear father appeased her by explaining that she did not suffer fully from it either, but her greed was untamed. She wanted my body. I was certain of it. It was a body swapping ring. The idea tasted like brass with a hint of absurdity. I heard stories from the superstitious families in our circle about wild tales like this, but I never knew they would come out of the shadows to haunt me. I didn't need proof. The naked avarice in her eyes was proof enough. She planned to have me slip it on, trigger the switch, and wake up tomorrow as Elise Vance, while I was either trapped, dying, or simply gone from this world entirely, depending on the rules of the magic. I was about to offer a cool refusal when the sliding door to the terrace opened, and Clara walked in. She was lucid today. My heart fluttered. Clara was my best friend, had been since 3rd grade. She was also the reason I was living every day with a low, constant hum of dread. Stage 4 glioblastoma. The doctors had given her 3 months, and those 3 months were nearly up. She had the pallor of expensive porcelain and moved with the slow, careful grace of someone trying not to break themselves. "Sorry, am I interrupting a serious Vance conspiratorial moment?" Clara's voice was reedy, but her smile was genuine, though it didn't quite reach the haunted shadows beneath her eyes. The assistant, following her, held her steady. Serafina scowled. "We were having a private moment, Clara." "Nonsense," I said, rising quickly. "Come in. You should see Serafina's latest trinket. She brought me a very pointed gift." I crossed the room and placed the cold serpentine ring in Clara's hand instead of my own. Clara examined it, her brow furrowed. "Oh, it's intricate. Victorian. It feels heavy." Serafina bolted upright, knocking her wineglass over. The red stain spread across the thick carpet like a wound. "Elise, what are you doing? Don't let her touch that." Serafina's composure shattered. Her voice was thin and panicked. "That's not for guests. It's for you, dear relative. Put it on." I ignored Serafina entirely. I looked at Clara, at the way she held her left side, the pain that flashed in her eyes when she thought I wasn't looking, the fierce, weary acceptance of her impending non-existence. "Clara, I said softly, meeting her gaze. Try it on. Clara hesitated, looking from me to Serafina, whose face was now a mask of pure, murderous impotency. A dark look of understanding flashed across her pale face, but was gone in an instant. I have a feeling, I continued, my voice steady, that your circumstances are far more deserving of a complete change than mine are. Clara understood. The assistant on my payroll had already clicked the cameras off and pinned Serafina down. She didn't need to know the exact mechanics of the ring, only the desperate necessity of the moment. She knew me. She knew I only traded in dark humor when the situation was truly dire. She gave me a long, searching look, a look that conveyed 25 years of shared secrets and unwavering loyalty. Then, with the faintest tremor, she slipped the ring onto the index finger of her left hand. Serafina shrieked, a raw, ugly sound that tore through the refined quiet of the parlor. No, take it off. You fool, you don't understand. Give it back to Elise. Oh, I asked, retrieving a strange, gleaming artifact that was shaped like a pen inside Serafina's pocket. It even had a small button on the top. Clearly, the trigger. This looks pretty expensive, dear half-sister. She was still struggling, but could only give me a murderous look as I fiddled with the pen artifact nonchalantly. Do it, Clara. The moment the silver band settled around Clara's thin finger, the air fractured. I clicked the button. There was no sound, only an explosive pulse of visual white light, like a flashbulb going front of my eyes. It was followed by a nauseating, visceral wrench, as if the laws of physics had been momentarily suspended and two souls that had been yanked free of their moorings. I stumbled back, shielding my eyes. The light faded, leaving behind the acrid scent of ozone and burning copper. I lowered my arms. Serafina, still held down by the assistant, immediately stopped struggling. The trigger in my hand lost its glow, and it didn't work after I clicked the button again. Then, Clara, who now wasn't Clara, collapsed onto the ground. I ignored her and knelt down to the new and improved half-sister, who now was promoted to my best friend. The look on her face was vibrant with a genuine smile. The skeletal thinness was gone, replaced by a firm musculature. The pallor was gone, replaced by a healthy, sun-kissed olive tone. She was tall, poised, radiating energy. She was wearing Serafina's sleek, tailored Chanel suit and grinning like a cat who caught a bird. The assistant helped her up, and we turned our eyes directly to Clara's old body. The dark-haired woman, lying in a heap on the velvet rug, clutching her temples, was now Serafina. She was thin, gaunt, and racked by a spasm of racking coughs. IR was obvious to us that the new tenant, my dear half-sister, wasn't used to such debuffs, nor was she used to wearing Clara's threadbare cardigan. Serafina, now inhabiting Clara's dying body, attempted to rise, but the pain, the blinding, agonizing cancer grew worse from her newly acquired intense distress, slammed her back down. No, 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 she rasped, her voice Clara's weak whisper, laced with my half-sister's frantic despair. Elise, you monster! Swap us back! Swap me back! I was wrong! I'll change! She scrambled backward, trying to tear the ring off the wrong hand. With great effort, she finally yanked it off. Her fingers bled as we watched with some amusement and apprehension as it sailed through the air, reflecting the parlor light off the serpent's fang. Eventually, it hit the floor and rolled underneath the sofa. Clara, inhabiting Serafina's body, looked down at her new hands and flexed her healthy fingers. It didn't matter if she wore that ugly ring or not. She took a deep breath, filling strong lungs that didn't rattle. She pushed her new wavy and full hair back, revealing those familiar eyes that I used to hate. The eyes were Serafina's emerald hue, but now they held Clara's peaceful, clear light. Well, Clara said, her voice now Serafina's rich contralto. She tilted her head and gave me the old, mischievous tilt of a high school conspirator. That's some pretty good fortune. I walked over to the ottoman, sinking onto the velvet cushion. The tension that had coiled in my gut for weeks finally broke, not in sobs, but in a burst of purely dark, triumphant relief. I told you, I choked out, covering my mouth. A complete change of circumstances. Serafina lay on the floor, weeping and screaming curses, unable to separate the agony of her physical pain from the agony of her betrayal. You ruined me. You gave my future to that invalid. Clara looked down at the screaming woman who had plotted to steal the life she now possessed. She felt no pity, only a vast, serene sense of injustice corrected. She's quite healthy, actually, Clara said to me, adjusting her expensive cufflink. Just a little uncomfortable after the trip. But what about your guests, our family? Father will have no idea why we're getting along, but he'll be thrilled. Isn't that wonderful? I didn't mention that he never paid attention to our power struggle or got to know us individually. I shrugged. There was someone we had to take care of. Then, standing over the wailing woman who was now facing imminent, agonizing death, my best friend shared a single, magnificent, full-bellied laugh from Serafina's powerful body. And I laughed too, shaking with the glorious, twisted irony of it all. We laughed until tears streamed down our faces, while Serafina, trapped in a dying vessel, screamed. It was the most honest, joyful sound I had heard in years. I could even hear its melody as the servants dragged her outside into the night, never to be seen again. And it was all thanks to a very shiny and very generous family gift.